I messed up. I messed up. I messed up. So I messed up. Um, I want to start by saying that I've been remarkably good this entire time of not playing this game between streams. And that's a feat that has not been easy with as much as this game has been on my mind pretty much any time that we're not streaming. So I want to emphasize that streak has ended. I guess is what I'm leading up to. Um, After our last stream, I my brain just continued like a hamster on a wheel, with all of the stuff that we still had, and I was still dedicated to like not doing any big discoveries or whatnot off stream. That would be silly. What would be the point? I was I went back into the game with the intent of like confirming some stuff that we already knew and ruling out some stuff and doing some like tedious science to try and like just confirm some what I thought would be obvious stuff that would then save time during a stream. And then I messed up. I actually messed up a couple of ways, but one of them was just fun. We'll get to that later. Um, but I didn't learn any like big discovery. Well, it's kind of it's not a discovery that matters to any of like the stuff that we were trying to solve. It's actually completely unrelated to that, but it is kind of a whopper in its own right. It's just tangential and auxiliary. That's right, Arthur. Um, but I feel like I should just mention it right from the start. I'm gonna open with that. We're gonna go back through and I'll show you what I learned. And then we'll talk about all the freaking epiphanies that I had that I filled 2 pages of my notebook with. Um, because yeah, right after stream, my brain was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, and that was like just the rest of my night, which was fun for everyone. Um, but I have I have ideas. I have so many ideas, too many ideas, maybe more than we'll get to in one stream. But we're gonna open with the accidental eureka moment, uh, which like the actual eureka moment involves going in the water. But I didn't know that at the time, so we'll deal with that, and then I'll show you the second one, the one that the other mistake that was that's just fun. That's we'll talk about all that before we get into it. But before we get into it, I should say we'll talk about all that as we get into it. But before we get into it, it's important that we talk about, as always, content warnings. Um, they're not related to the mistakes, luckily. Although I guess a couple of them may come up. It's irrelevant. The point is, this game is a space survival game. There is some stuff that we need to talk about before we get into the game itself. Because it's in space, there are a lot of sequences. Sorry, I have some fluff in my face. I can't imagine how that happened. Um, we'll be in zero G at times. That will involve rapidly changing perspectives. If you, like me, are prone to motion sickness, that can be a problem. Wanted to give forewarning on that for any time, particularly where we're in zero G, but some other times as well. So a big forewarning on that. We might end up back at Dark Bramble. If so, jump scares definitely a big thing. The big anglerfish tend to come out of the fog suddenly and alarmingly. Flashing lights if we do get to the ending tonight. Falling, that will happen pretty much out of the way, but also I just tend to fall a lot in this game. It's kind of my thing. So lots of falling from high heights and looking over the edges of things. So forewarning on that. Suffocation. It's a space game. Lack of oxygen is going to be a threat and a worry. Confined spaces. The ship itself is also cramped, and then we will also probably squeeze into some other small spaces as we go. Um, Death is a regular thing, both ours, and we'll also run into lots of like skeletons in the environments. Some of the skeletons are small, and also logs that will mention deaths of others. For a full list, more detailed list with that goes into more details on the specifics and where to expect these particular items, more than these particular items, and the scenes that involve all of them, head to doesthedogdie.com and search Outer Wilds, or click the link in the content warnings tab. If you do !CW in the chat, they'll pull it up. You can click on that link, that'll take you right to the Outer Wilds entry. The folks who have played this game have very diligently gone through and put in all of so far I haven't run into anything that I didn't see in that list, but they've done a very good job of going through and itemizing the stuff to watch out for and detailing where it appears so that all of us can be forewarned and prepare ourselves as necessary and do what we need to do to take care of ourselves, which is always good. Hi in advance, Bob. I imagine you're probably still in the midst of an ad. That'll give me more time to Scritch and Arthur, which, is never time wasted, really. He certainly seems to be enjoying it. And that'll also give me time to get the game loaded. So we'll do that. And then I will show all of y'all the first of the two oopsies, which is the whole thing. That's we will climb Mount Oopsie and then come back down the other time. Cantankerous hotel Wi-Fi. Oh no. There we go, buddy. There we go. I love how with the camera angle you can just see like Arthur kind of Kilroying over the lip of the bottom of the camera there. Here we go, buddy. And a little bit of this here, a little bit of this here, and a little bit over there. It's important to balance ear scritches. You don't want to get those out of sync, There you go. So the keen-eyed among you may notice that our top menu item is no longer resume expedition. It has now become load previous save.
Really?
Listen, I broke the universe. So that's the second oopsie. I put it back. It's fine. That's not the important oopsie. The important oopsie is the one we'll talk about first. But yeah, I might have broken time and space a little bit, which is apparently a thing you could do. Remarkably easily. I found out. So we've done that. I got an achievement for it. But yeah, hi buddy. You doing okay? So yeah, I broke time and space. But that's not the important thing that I did. The important thing that I did was I fell down a hole. So we're gonna fall down a hole first. Hey, Katie. And that's where I learned a secret that doesn't really matter to our overall quest, but it still has some very interesting lore, I think. There we go. Okay, bud. Why are you so fluffy? I don't think you've ever answered that question. I've asked you more times than I can count. You're just gonna fall asleep instead of answering. That's the old tricks are always the best. Here, let's just scoot you into the lap there. All right. So we'll just load the previous save, and act like the timeline is still intact. So, how this all started. So I mentioned I had some epiphanies kind of at the end of our last stream, about like, little things like how to get to the core of the Ash Twin. I had a thought about where to find a warp core. That one made me real mad. We'll talk about that later. But the one big one that still eludes me is how to get to the Phantom Moon. That's not the button. That's the button. So I started going back to like past VODs and trying to figure out what I had missed, because I'm no longer convinced that it has anything to do with the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. I think we've genuinely exhausted everything we can there. So I went back to the Tower of Quantum Trials. I did all the tests and whatnot again. Hi, bud. How you doing? And I saw something there that I had forgotten about. So at the Tower of Quantum Trials, after you do the... Oh, 1 second. Arthur, Katie admires how fluffy you are. So at the Tower of Quantum Trials, when you get to the top, there's a little, like, know my information screen that's like, congratulations, you solved our wall puzzle, yada yada yada. When you go to the Quantum Moon, you take the hopes and dreams of all Nomai with you. The yada 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 part, which I skipped over too fast the first time, is a single sentence that houses an incredible amount of information that says, remember each other shard also has something to teach you. Hey, September. Um, so the sentence, each other shard has something to teach you, rattled around in my brain. Um, so I went and made sure that we had found every shard. We got this frequency. There's nothing that's still registering as unknown, so I think we found every shard. And so I just went through and I'm like, okay, is there a shard that we haven't learned something from? And so I went back through and it's like, okay, well, there's the museum shard that taught us that um, the quantum shards move anytime that they're not being observed. Cool, we got that. There's the tower shard that has an OMI like monitor on top of it that taught us that they're all part of the quantum moon. Cool, 2 for 2. There's the stone inside of the Ember Twin that taught us that we can turn our light off and back on, and that counts as not being observed. It also taught us that objects nearby quantum rock become quantum after a prolonged exposure. We're not actually sure how long prolonged exposure is. We're probably quantum now, but that's 3. There's the island shard, which is the shard that's inside the Tower of Quantum Trials that taught us that if a quantum object is observed through a camera, it still counts as being observed. It still locks it in place. This is 4. And then there's this fucker. The Grove shard here on Timber Hearth. And I realized I don't think we've learned anything from this one. Now, this was the grove that we came to where we had... There was one time where our ship kind of, got weirdly... Like that. Got weirdly janked and danced around for a little bit, and I didn't understand why at the time. It's because everything in this grove is quantum. I think we didn't know that other objects near a quantum shard become quantum. What happened was we looked away and looked back, and a tree came up underneath our ship. And I thought it was some like weird glitch in the game because at the time, not understanding the transitive property of quantumness, I just thought that was a game glitch that seemed more reasonable. Hey, Al. So, and then I remembered that Gabbro had a poem down here. This poem. Here, we'll go see it. Across old bark, it's always dark, the quiet shade in the ancient glade. Every time that this poem moves, the lines reorder themselves. Across old bark, the quiet shade, it's always dark in the ancient glade. So, I think Gabbro deliberately tried to write this so that it always makes sense no matter what order it is. I sat in this freaking glade and just followed this poem around for, I think, 45 minutes, trying to find every possible combination to see if some combo would just make a light bulb go on, or, like, unlock something, or whatever. Oh, did the sound go out? Is the sound out? Bubba? Hoodipop? Okay, so you're all, okay, so at least some of you are still hearing it. But yeah, so in the ancient glade, the quiet shade, it's always dark across old bark, yada yada yada. So also this it's always dark started to mess with me, right? Because the wandering stone inside the Ember Twin was the one that we stood on top of, and then we turned out our light. So I noticed that this guy's kind of in a dark part of the grove. So I jetpacked up and I stood on top of it and I turned out my lamp. It never actually gets dark enough in the grove for this thing to teleport out from underneath us. So that's a red herring. That's not actually a thing. I started all this by saying that I messed up. Here's where I messed up. Give me a second to... So I noticed also... Let me get back on top of you. Hey! Nope, not quite. Hey, remarkably difficult grove to get on top of. So this is just me telling you all of the stuff that I did off stream. I noticed that every time I looked away, the stones in the pond moved. While I was at the Tower of Quantum Trials, I noticed the quantum moon, like, symbol that the Nomai have looks like a circle with, like, I called it intestines at one point. It kind of looks like a maze. around that maze are like 6 dots and a weird like dashed line or a force field kind of a thing, which I'm wondering if that's what we're running into when we try to just physically land on the moon. So I'm like, what if these stones are? What if this is the puzzle? This is like the combination lock. So I started trying to like look away from the pond and look back at it and seeing if like, can I make the stones get into the same pattern that's in that symbol? I was going absolutely mad. And then I got, at some point, like this, the geyser back into the middle. Now, it's not important that I got the geyser back into the middle. What matters is, I didn't notice that I'd got the geyser back into the middle. I had given up on it, and I was trying to go back to my ship. But while I was crossing the middle of the pond, not noticing that the geyser had taken place over the stones again, whoop, I fell down a hole. And that's when I found something. If I can remember where I found it. I think I found it here. Nope. Ew. And that's when I found this. That shows, like, fish coming out of a pond, coming onto land, and some Nomai just chilling and watching it. And Coleus! After closer observation, mining site 2A wouldn't be safe for the native life dwelling in some of this cave's pools, so, unfortunately, we'll have to mine one of the other sites. The actual site that they use to mine ore for the Ash Twins core is mining site 2B, so this apparently was where they started. There are a few other cave sites that look promising. What about site 2B? It shares similar formations and strata. That's where we know that they eventually went. That sounds promising. Will you and your mentor investigate? If mining site 2B proves safe for this native species, we'll move our work there. Site 2B is safe. Coleus says we'll continue to monitor our activity and its effect on life here. So essentially, there are native organisms. They don't want to disturb them, so they're not going to mine in this cave. On the opposite hand, new life. This species is semi-aquatic and very hardy. The ecosystem here is quite robust, so I believe they'll thrive in the long run. Be cautious near the pools if you visit 2A to meet them. They remind me of a subterranean species that my mentor Melore once told me about. From when our clan used to travel across the universe, I imagine she would have enjoyed these life forms greatly. I was watching them once during a rest, and the hours escaped me. They're fascinating. I wonder what their fourth eye does. Harthians have 4 eyes. Okay. So that was the big discovery that I just sort of happened upon while I was going absolutely mad in the grove. Geyser, help. Geyser, help. Geyser, help, please. Uppies. Uppies? Really? Really? You guys go off in order? We get over there and it's going to immediately go away. Hooray! And over. Remember? Now on over. We're gonna die. We're okay! Alright, back to our ship. But yes, the little like mud, called mud skips? Mud skips. I was trying to make sure I wasn't naming the Pokemon. But yeah, just little proto fish flopping up on land for the first time. And the Nomai were there to witness us. And they moved their mining site so as not to kill the Harthians, which is considerate, really. That doesn't help us get to the Phantom Moon at all, but it was very cool. Now, that still means that this shard, so far as I know, hasn't taught us anything. Which means that the secret to getting to the Phantom Moon might still be in this grove somewhere. But that's not important at the moment. Because we have two other things that I figured out. And we probably killed enough time to go ahead and capitalize on one of them. Once I figure out... There it is. This game proves that anyone claiming that they can't add an FOV slider due to rendering issues might be full of shit. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, did we time this just right? Yes. Yes. Closer. Yes. Okay. Good. So, the other two epiphanies that I had. That's right, two epiphanies. Two epiphanies. The first one was that, so we were looking for, at one point, a warp core for the Nomai vessel that's stuck deep in Dark Bramble. And when I realized that we know exactly where there's a warp core, and not only do we know where one is, we've held one in our hands. I yelled in real life. Because right over there on the Ember Twin, in the high energy lab, where we first learned about the white hole black hole connection and how they make wormholes, and I saw the thing that I initially thought was a ceiling lamp inside the Nomai vessel. The little diamond-shaped thing that we plugged into their little experiment thing there. You mouse over it, and the helpful little tooltip says warp core. I was busy having several brain blasts at the time, so I just was so busy figuring out how black holes worked that I didn't really catalog that. This was like 7 episodes ago. I think it's more than that now. But yeah, we were literally held warp core in our hands. It's right over there. It's too late to get it now, I think, because it's filled up with sand. But like, next loop, we're totally gonna get it, and we can go take it to the vessel, plug it in, and plug in the coordinates, and then I don't know what, but something presumably is gonna happen. But yeah, it was right there. I just didn't write it down. It was right there. That's also where I broke the timeline, by the way, because I went back to the high energy core to just confirm that that's what those were called. And I did the little experiment again where we put in like the white core and the purple core, and then you fire a scout in one. We'll do it again when we get over there. It'll be very. It's hilarious. And we'll break the.
That one.
I did that one, and I broke the timeline. It was very funny.
You broke it.
I broke it. Is cute. But that wasn't the only epiphany I had. The other epiphany I had. A lot of syllables I can't get together. The other epiphany I had. So, last time when we got to the Sun Station was when I figured out, hello Phantom Moon, that this tower, one second, not that tower, we'll come around. No, it's fine, I'll go around. So, the tower that's about to be consumed by sand, that I originally called Spiky Boy, and by process of elimination at the time, thought went to Dark Bramble, actually goes to the Sun Station. And I was so excited to learn that and to figure out how to navigate through the weird, like, cacti passage thing in there, that I totally forgot that means that we're now back to having a tower without a known destination, which is this one. We know that this one goes to the Ember Twin, which is right next door. So where the hell does this one go? Now, these are paired.
the same way that the Ember Twin and the Ash Twin are paired. So if that one goes to the Ember Twin, it stands to reason that this one goes to the Ash Twin. But we're on the Ash Twin. Why would you need a teleport tower that goes to the planet you're already on? If you need to go into the planet you're already on. This core is freaking supernova proof, we've been told. But what if that teleporter is the thing that goes inside the Ash Twin to get to the Ash Twin project where they stored all the Nomai, like, memory thing doodle what's-its? This is my theory. Now, problem is, the top came off. And every time that the sand goes over it, it sucks us right off the pad so that we can't teleport. So I think we have to wait until very close to the end of the cycle, when the sand is gone, for that teleporter to actually activate, is my theory. But, usually the problem with the end of the cycle is that there's not a lot of time before the supernova goes off, right? If I'm right and that teleporter goes to the center of the Ash Twin core, we're going to be in a bubble that's supernova proof. Does that mean we don't die at the end of the cycle? Maybe. We're going to do science to it. Just as soon as that stuff stops barfing sand everywhere. Or I guess in this case, stops sucking sand everywhere. That's the plan. What happens when you break the timeline? The screen cracks and they roll credits. It was very funny. I was very surprised. But yeah, so I think this goes into the Ash Twin core. And assuming it activates when I think it activates, because normally these teleporters activate when your destination is above, and so there's not really a protocol for what if your destination is below and behind you. But it's, again, paired with the Ember Twin, so it seems to make sense, to me at least, that it would still activate when the Ember Twin is overhead, and maybe there's like a weird recursive loop because they're binary planets. Maybe. It does seem like we're mostly out of sand here. Okay, we're a little bit. Actually, you know what we'll do? Here's what we'll do. We're not using this ship anymore after this, so level. It also explains, I think, why there is this individual trying to get here. Because if this goes inside the supernova-proof core, it'd be the last place that this person was trying to get to. To, like, desperately try to survive the end of the cycle. Which is a cool bit of, like, visual storytelling. Is there more sand? If there is, we'll just hide over here for a moment. Okay, there is still more sand. Hide. Don't be on the teleporter, just hide near it. Near reporter. Goodbye, ship. Thank you for your service. We appreciate what you've done for science. The odds we can just run in after it. No, okay. We'll just keep doing that until it's out of sand. thought it was a light fixture. This whole game is about me feeling silly retroactively. Oh yeah, I guess we could just hide in here. You're not wrong. Genuinely haven't tried that. That's not a bad idea. If this doesn't work, we'll try that. Wait here and see if the planet comes around again. I know for sure the sand's out by the time we've heard that song. Just wait for a full rotation, see what happens. Although our ship is now kind of our, like, tracker. Okay, it's not on Timber Hearth. It's not on Outer Rock. Oh boy, I sure hope it comes around in time. I did not think it wouldn't happen fast enough. That wasn't in my calculations. I might have hecked this up. Oh, wait. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, it's gonna be very close. Oh god. Is it going? Nope, we died first. Damn! It happens, like, right as the Ember Twin is lining up, too. So that... It can't be as simple as that, then. Which means either we have to do it when the sand is still falling, which is possible. In which case we can try it immediately. So yeah, might as well try it immediately. That, or... I mean, the teleporter wouldn't... It would be silly if the teleporter worked based on where you're facing. No, because we've faced different ways and been warped, like, sideways without expecting. So that's not it. Yeah, alright. Yeah, it's right at the tail end. That's so frustrating. Alright, let's... Bob, I'm going to try your alcove trick. I like that. I like that as a call-out. I think that might be the key that we're missing. I hadn't noticed before how recessed that little, like, library where they would have kept the scrolls was, but that has more of a ceiling than I realized. That might be enough. Al is a good cove. You're not wrong. Alright, now we do have to wait for that to desandify. Does that give us enough time to... Let's find out. Let's see. This game was in development technically since 2012. Wow. You know, honestly, you take long enough in development, and generally speaking, you get something good out of it. This is why crunch is bad. It's not why crunch is bad, but, like, it's further evidence that if you give developers time to, like, actually have healthy habits, sometimes you get absolute magic out of it, as opposed to long nights and burnt candles at both ends. Alright, now then. Grab the cannon. There it is. Check. Set it down here. Right here. Yo. Yeah. Nope. Missed it. In we go. Yep. Okay, well, at least it wasn't as simple as I was thinking. There's always a kind of a weird reassurance in I wasn't missing something obvious. First done as a student project. Wow. Okay, now then. Okay. Green beans, yes. Scrambled eggs, no. Oh, I like crunching some things. We follow this. All right. I don't know why I thought that would go differently. Sorry, Scout. Try that again. There we go. Get some light in here. I don't think that there's a way for us to jetpack boost this, but I'm going to try it anyway. Nope. Okay. No, we just have to wait this one. So far as I know, there might be a way to like, finagle that, but I think this is just a wait for the sand to fill up situation. They should release the low poly graphics from the free version as a couple dollars DLC. I would happily fund that. But then again, I'm someone who plays with the like, what do you call it? The, like, there's the low polygon skins in, I want to say both, like, Resident Evil 1 HD and Resident Evil 2. And I just prefer them. I think they're so funny. Played Narbacular Drop. I haven't heard of that, but that, what a name. On a weirdly related note, as long as we're waiting for the sand to fill up, have been seriously looking at Pseudo Regalia and all of its wonderful kind of faux retro glory. Oh, predecessor to Portal. Oh no, that sounds lovely. This is the part where he kills you. What a great pair of games. It's such a weird and wonderful thing. The more that I understand the time loop of this game, how much I start to understand my kind of relationship to time. Of, like, of when it's like, some things are going too fast, some things are going too slow. I never feel like I have enough time, and then I feel like I have way too much. And ultimately, you always have time to try again. And there's something just beautifully meta about it all. I think that's so well done. Oh, LEGO Dimensions Portal. God. Lovely game. Right, and then we go across the bridge. Wasn't there a, shoot. There was like a bridge builder game based on Portal, I think. Which was not, like, a great game. It was fine. It was not what I would call, like, lore heavy or anything. Right, okay, so this is the thing. That. And I came back here just to double check. Even though I had the VOD to confirm this for me anyway. I came back here just because I was mad. And I saw that, and I'm like, and we already know we can fly the ship one-handed, so we can come here, grab this, go back to the ship, and then fly all the way to the Nomai vessel. And I think what we actually specifically want is this. I don't know that for certain,
but we did confirm that, like, we always go from purple to white, the way that the wormholes work. So I'm pretty confident that's what we need. Um, as far as how I broke the universe, I won't do it at the moment just to save time. But so you know how we kind of learned that like there's a very slight you arrive before you leave kind of thing? If you fire the scout through the portal and then unplug one of these while it's in transit, you end up with a scout that comes out before the other scout has finished actually entering. And then there's two scout. And that creates a Pime paradox. And then the universe breaks a half and the credits roll. And that's why we have another save file now. Anyway, that's the story of how Andy accidentally broke the universe.
Kazoo music?
There's not kazoo music, although that would be funny. And there should be a door up here that will make it a lot easier to just leave. Actually, it would be great if that were met with a sad trombone. That would have just been icing on the cake. I don't feel right asking for anything more from this game, but boy, that would have just put me in the grave. You wouldn't think this game would need save files, right? I found the one instance, apparently. My one regret is that we can only send the scout through and not ourselves. It would be great if we could have two of us. There are fanfics that start that way. Now, the one thing that is weird is that this warp core is not remotely the same shape as the one that we took out of the vessel. Did we find you before? I don't remember finding you before. Maybe we did. What matters is there's enough sand gone that we should still be able to get to the thing. Yep. Let's just do this piece at a time. Alright. The one thing that's weird, Pear, you got me there. I use that as a verbal shortcut, but you're absolutely right. Hey. Alright, proof of concept. We can take the warp core and just fly away. So, good to know. Alright, now then. Let's not get crashed into here. So. Again, ship doesn't really matter. I don't mean that in a bad way, ship. It's just that we're staying here until we either get warped into the core or we run out of time. So this is the last we're going to be using you this trip. Yeah, might as well just drop this here. Just here for a second. Aside from the other folks who are aware of the loop, most of the progress is stored with your brain instead of the game. I think so far the only person we've met who's aware of the loop is Gabbro. We've come to the conclusion, or like we've guessed, that Feldspar seems to have a longer memory, but Feldspar's also left themselves notes, so I don't know how much of that is like just by doing the memento thing versus actually remembering. Gabbro is the only person who has mentioned an encounter with the Nomai statue with the eyes open. So I think there's still potentially... I think it might be... If we get to the Quantum Moon, we might actually meet Solanum, and they might be the only other person. Would the notes persist? That's a good point. We found their note inside of the... jellyfish. Actually, yeah, why do all of Feldspar's travel logs persist? Are they making that voyage every single time one step ahead of us? That's a great question. I just had a whole new question about, like, about how the resets actually work. Because the probe is also keeping separate logs, so its databanks have got to be either stored in the Ash Twin project and re-uploading every time, or like, huh? Alright, so we're just gonna wait for that to, and then I'm just gonna try and. Thank you, Bob. We're in the thingy. We're in the thingy. Boy, that's disorienting. We're on a ring. Hey, huge thanks to Alcove. Give a shout out to Alcove. Hey, look! It's the thing! It's the thing that we saw a projection of. Yeah, there it is. Alright. 13 minutes, 26 seconds ago. Received data from previous cycles. Okay, well, there we go. That's our... Masks receiving data... Probe tracking module. Literally the thing I was just talking about. Okay, well, that's that confirmed. Yay, I helped by accident. Listen, we started tonight talking about accidents, right? That's half of science. Giant's Deep memory statue. Timber Hearth memory statue. Okay, Gabbro's Giant's Deep, where Timber Hearth. Maybe those are the only two. So maybe there isn't a third one. Probe Oh! The third mask is just the probe tracking module. It's just the probe data. It's not a person at all. It's just the probe data. It's us, Gabbro, and the probe data. Those are the three masks. 9 minutes until end of cycle transmission. Okay. Today we finish the excavation of Ash Twin. Here in this space we carved, we will craft our most ambitious project yet. The Ash Twin project, powerful enough to send information back in time. We've also finished reallocating all subterranean plants we met while digging. We'll need to keep our eyes on how significantly we've altered the environment here. How far we've come since our experiments at the High Energy Lab. I still can hardly believe Raimi's hypothesis was true. I'm so glad that Pi made it. They got back from the Sun Station. Poke just sent the warp core for the final tower to us from the Black Hole Forge. Now Ash Twin can be connected with Giant's Deep, where Cassava is working with Avens to craft the orbital probe cannon, and where Phlox is sculpting the memory statues. Okay, so if the warp core that we've got doesn't plug into the vessel, there might be warp cores in the Black Hole Forge. So maybe we actually do have to get into the Black Hole Forge. Okay. Write that down before I forget. Black Hole Forge. Won't you, Porge? Black Hole Forge as warp Corge. It's like a rhyme. Right. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. That's kind of big. We might need that later. Hypothesis. It was not by accident that the core of our warp tower was the last to be forged. Hypothesis. The cores could have been forged faster if Cassava had interrupted my work less frequently to ask for updates. The important point is we're all connected through Ash Twin now, and also that I'm no longer needed for mediating your disagreements. Our friends on Giant's Deep tested the orbital probe cannon today. Mallow tells me the cannon is doing well and that Avens advocates for more launch power. If anyone can coax the maximum power from a device, Avens can. But then if anyone can goad a device into exploding, that too is likely Avens. Perhaps I should check in with the orbital probe cannon crew in the interest of safety. Would it help to remind Avens that Mallow, his love, will be one of the Nomai aboard the cannon, or aboard the cannon, you say? Alright. Aboard the cannon, not aboard the probe. Sorry, I was misreading that. Or is Mallow part of the problem? Well, I think we know the answer to that already, and it's wonderful. Phlox and Daz finished the memory statues today, and they're truly remarkable. When the Ash Twin project succeeds, or in the event it fails, the memory statues will activate, allowing us to gather more data before we shut down the project. Pi and Idea have worked hard on the Sun Station, and it at last is complete.
If everything goes as planned, the structure will prompt the sun's explosion, which will in turn supply the power the Ash Twin project requires. That's why it didn't work. I'm impressed by their mental fortitude. This was the project's most difficult task in more ways than one. We're nearly ready to activate the Ash Twin project. Here's what will happen. First, the sun station will receive the order to fire at the sun, prompting it to explode. Using the energy from the resulting supernova, the Ash Twin project will send the order for the orbital probe cannon to fire back in time by 22 minutes. Exactly 22 minutes after these orders are received, the sun station will again trigger the supernova to send the probe data from this cannon back in time. Phew, my head. In total, each cycle created by the Ash Twin project will last precisely 22 minutes. We can end this cycle at will. Okay. These words are difficult to write. The sun station did not work. However, this is the closest we have ever been. The Ash Twin project is theoretically sound. We were only unable to power it. Perhaps there's another way. Suppose we redesign the sun station. To generate power of that magnitude, a supernova is still our only viable option. Did they just wait for the sun to naturally supernova? Interesting. Believe we can still find a way to create a supernova. Don't lose hope. This is easier expressed than accomplished. You can wait for the sun to explode on its own natural timeline if you prefer, Idea, but you'll need to find some way to halt our aging process. We are halting our research into creating a supernova for this moment. A comet has newly arrived in the solar system, and we're anxious to explore it. It's been a very long time since we last explored something new, so we're excited to welcome this comet. Imagine what knowledge might be gained there. Alright, Interloper. Sounds like you and I have a date. Ember Hearth? We're just gonna see inside of some of these other ones. Gratify the latest shipment. It's just the other side of these conversations we've already seen. Yep, okay. Brittle Hollow. Spore core is ready to be installed in the central chamber of Ash Twin. Here's working on the Ash Twin. Excited to see you. Hey. Develop the forge. The core's durability could still be improved. I need more time. Ignore her, Yarrow. The core is finished, and if my sister tells you otherwise, then she will be finished as well. Don't worry, love. Poke is only nervous. The core is extraordinary, and her design work is beautifully clever. Alright. I'm betting that's inside of the actual, like, Black Bolt Forge. Installed the masts inside the Ash Twin blocks. They look beautiful, although I feel as if I'm being observed. Covering another statues will not pair until the project succeeds. Otherwise, I imagine the experience will be hard to endure. Ideally, they'll only need to activate once the project succeeds. As a safety measure, however, the statues will also activate in the event of equipment failure. Yeah, I think we read the other end of this. If anything goes wrong with the Ash Twin project, the statues and their mass will make us aware of the situation and enable us to fix it. Otherwise, it would be possible for us to remain permanently unaware of the problem. Alright. I love that they've included the other end of the exchange. Alright, so that's a big ball. Deal with that in a moment. What do you do? Artificial gravity control. Can we turn this off? Let's turn you back on. Come with me. Actually, hang on. Before you do that, you stay right there. You woke up. You're about to access the core while the Ash Twin project is active. Removing the core will disable the Ash Twin project. Looks like there's more in there. Hang on. Bring this back. Is there a third? Or is this just like a warning light? It looks like there's a third thing down in there that it still hasn't, like, brought up yet. Hello there. Okay, and that's why we need to turn this off. Does that allow us to... Yep. There we go. That's the warp core. That's the actual warp core we need. That's It's the one that has both of them. I got it. I understand. Okay, hang on. Put it back. Oh, no, put it back. Okay, so we don't have enough time to do this now. Woo. Yeah. But this is what we need to do. We need to... Whoop, 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 whoop. Back here. Come with me. No. Here, please. Okay, and then... Would you kindly... Gravity. Alright. So... That's the piece. That's the actual piece. I thought I found a warp core, and technically I found a thing called a warp core, but not the right warp core. We need that warp core. We need both. We need to risk it all. Because we come here, we grab that, and if we mess it up, we've turned off the save state. We're making a mad dash for the Nomai vessel without a parachute. Oh, that's very good. That's very good. Okay. Where did I find... It's back at the entrance here. So... For now, it's back in place, and the thing is back on. Yeah, we're 4 minutes till end. Let's hop back in. On... Oh, thank you, Sam. On a lark. Let's see if we can get to the interloper now that we're, like, at the end of the cycle, right? Just for hot. Let's see how melty it is. The wrong button. Here it comes. Y'all were curious about this thing? Me too. Where is it? There it is. Real good look at this thing. Let me see the core view. Okay. So first of all, we're definitely... Nope, no, too close, back up, fly! Fly and be free! Did it just go into the sun? Okay, well the good news is, we didn't go into the sun. The bad news is... Okay, so we can't wait to the end of the cycle. It melts. Okay, I was wrong. Can't wait to the end of the cycle. It goes straight in. Huh. So when is it melty enough? Because we went after the first pass, and it definitely like melted the ice a bit, but then I couldn't find a seam anywhere. So it doesn't pass the sun twice. On its return trip, it just goes straight in. Huh.
So we're back to one with the comet, too. That's right, that's right. We have our heading. Literally. We have a working engine. We have coordinates. We have one shot. We might never land on the Phantom Moon. We might never get inside of the Interloper. But we're gonna get where the heck that probe got to. Or die trying. Right after these messages. It's always interesting to me that the shockwave doesn't get us. Like, it gets the planets, but it doesn't get us. Well, what did I miss? Nothing. Yeah, it's pretty standard night. It's it started with a mistake. And now we're here. The short version is I was correct about how to get inside the Ash Twin core. I was both right and wrong about where there was a warp core for powering the Nomai vessel. But now we know where there's a working one. And now, more than ever before in this game, we are on the clock. So we're gonna go make a bad decision. For science. You were correct. Has that happened before? Once or twice. I'm very happy about this one, honestly. I'm mostly just happy that I was right about where that tower went. If that hadn't panned out, I would have been bummed that it just taken us right back. If it had been a redundant tower to the Ember Twin for some reason, I would have been like, what? But why? Whoop. Next, you can let a groundhog fly the spaceship. Feels like an underrated Star Fox character. And now we wait. Does the warp core power the time machine? Yes. So we must choose between immortality and venturing beyond. It's not a subtle metaphor, and I appreciate that here at the end of all things. Whoop! I got too close. Hello, sand. Should have known it was you. You know, Sam, we've been through a lot together. I can't say that I've always been a fan. Almost never, actually. But I like that time you were in Undertale. But other than that, not a big fan of your work. No, as long as we're here. Oh, I miss you, Ryback. And Chert, you're here also. Doesn't mean Chert's fine. Chert's fine. I do like another drummer. It's just hard to stand up to Ryback. We're waiting here because we need the sand to go down before the towers are actually, like, available to be entered. So we have to waste a little bit of time, unfortunately. Hey, yo. Hello, interloper. Yeah, so they've already transited the sun once. They do a second transit much sooner than I realized. I'm gonna do this kind of like the other sand tower. I want to make sure we get there as soon as possible. I don't think it'll take us long to get back to the vessel. Now that we know how the anglerfish work. I love that though. I love that in order to do this, we've got to get past a like nest of sleeping anglerfish. And it's just like what a rude challenge when you know you've only got one life to live. I suppose the smart play would be to do like a practice run, right? But we're not doing that. I always forget how long it takes for the sand to actually start to drain here. It feels like it should be faster. You have actually a long time here. Never got inside the comet. Never landed on the Phantom Moon. I don't know that we won't. Like, we may actually get back there. I don't know that this is the end. Like, I think this is a big thing that we're about to do, but I don't know that it's like the last thing that we're about to do. Oh wait, hang on. I think I want you in the path of the sand actually, so that we can get back to you quickly. Let's put you here on the bridge. Nice and neat. Lovely. It's about as quickly as we can get in here, I think. Right over it. It's fine. We can just go in the door. It's silly of me to start, like, styling on it. I don't know why I thought that was a smart idea. Thank you again, Bob, for the alcove idea. And now we wait. Is Chert the Ringo of Harthian astronauts? Oh no. Honestly, that's fair because he does actually deserve more respect than he gets, but is also kind of a bet. So yeah, it's a little bit of both. You're not wrong. Alright. Wait for the sand to be overhead. Goodbye, ship. And yo. Nope. No, I went too early. Well, that might... whoa! Have goofed the run. I guess we'll find out. No.
we just try that again? I could go find the ship and go. No. Yes, we'll just try that again. Got a little too eager. It's not super easy to tell where the middle of the column of sand is by eyeballing it, as it turns out. I'm honestly more impressed that we did it right the first time. Although, to be fair, the first time we had our ship as a marker. And this time our ship was in the midst of being sucked up still. So maybe the strategy is park the ship further away so that it is on the other planet to give us lead time? I don't know. This is why we wait for a firing solution. This is why we do not eyeball it. Alright, so we lose another, whatever that was, 5-6 minutes. Trying to glide gently. Wow, the sand hasn't even started, like... There's no tether yet. I didn't actually realize we could get here before the sand started pouring. There it is. Oh, that's cool. We didn't get to see that before. Yep. Just... where we needed to. Alright, so we'll need to see the top of the towers so that we can recognize... We know where the equator is, which is the important part, because that'll be where the bridge is, but I need to know which tower we're next to. Whoop, stop. Stop it. Stop. There. So yeah, we'll park the ship, let it get sucked up, use it as a marker, teleport inside, grab the thing doodle, ride the sand to the Ember Twin, pick up our ship, fly to Dark Bramble, follow the signal to the distress beacon, follow the lights to the Bramble Seed, fire the scout, follow the scout signal through the nest to the vessel, all in... I'm gonna eyeball it 12 minutes? Alright, I think that's the top of it. So I'm gonna park this one like here? Like here. In fact, what if we just park it on top of this? Boop, 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 up, boop, up, boop, up, boop, boop. Yeah. Perfect. Equator. Perfect. Love it. Good stuff. And the important thing is just not also get sucked up by sand. The one task we failed at last time. So we just hang out here. But this time we can also take advantage of the topless tower from the Makosa Tangle Tower and just go down into the thing instead of having to like go around into the door. 15 minutes in a dream. We got this. Where's the interloper on its run? Okay, so it's done its slingshot.
Starting to get the weird impression that the interloper is like a weird timeless entity and is at a different point in its run each loop. But that's probably just me whammying myself. Why does the sand pick this moment to start falling? Is it known to go back and forth in the past? They actually have mentioned that the Hourglass twins apparently share the sand back and forth, but in the 22-minute loop, it only goes one way. So we never actually see it go from the Ember Twin back. Which I think is interesting. This is normal and reversible, and we just happen to hit it on the side of the loop. Right, exactly. If we weren't stuck in a 22-minute loop, it would be just constantly going back and forth. Alright, so now we've got our ship marker. And importantly, the ship made it to the other planet intact. So normally we get a message if it, like, takes damage. Oh, I hope I didn't run over here too quickly. No, we got time. We got time. Right? We got time? Yeah, I think we got time. It's just right below us now. We're okay. Pretty sure we're okay. Yeah, there we go. Lovely, lovely. Just use that to keep tracking it. I got curious and looked up some stuff, and surprisingly, I do not regret it. That's kind of the opposite of my experience, where I'm like, I'm just going to go confirm some stuff we already know, and then I immediately made a huge discovery off stream, and I'm like, well, I'm going to have to open this stream on a huge apology. It's fine, it wasn't related to anything else, it was just a really cool thing about, like, oh, here's some nice lore deep down under a geyser. That's the stuff. Now then, I want to go straight for the mechanism. I'm glad that they thought to bring the plants down here so that we can refill on oxygen. It's very thoughtful. Alright, let's create a view. Disable artificial gravity. Disengage our mag boots. Grab our warp core. And back to the thingy. Beautiful. And now we... Where's our ship? Way over there. Okay, we'll meet it on the other side of the planet. Okay, alright, one shot. We got this. You hear the music change? Hey, Phantom Moon, how you doing? Don't play that music. You're not going supernova. No. Time's not up yet. No. No, we're changing it. Yeah, no, you're not nearly dark enough red yet. Everything's fine. Everything's gonna be just fine. I should get to the page that has the actual things on them. Yep, there it is.
Had that thought earlier. Let's go. Beam me up, Sandy. Alright, come on, ship. It's you and me. We got this. Oh, I love this. I love this musical choice that they've made. Alright, alright. Alright, Bramble, where are we at? Up, I said. Alright. The music's about to start. Don't worry, you have time. Thank you. My adrenaline is firing on all cylinders. Hello, Dark Bramble. It's good to see you again. I remember what it's like to pilot completely without thrusters. Shit! Shit! It's right underneath us. Didn't even see it. Thought we were okay. Yeah, we sure are. Damn! Damn! Didn't hear it. Well, that was our one. Alright, well, we'll try that again on Thursday. We know what we gotta do now. We know what we gotta do. Ah. It'd be so intense. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of want to see what happens if you take the warp core and then watch the sun. I assume if we just die with the warp core, it just takes us to You Are Dead and we go here. You know what? We have like 6 minutes. Let me show y'all how I broke the universe. Because it's hilarious. I described it earlier, but seeing it, I think, is much funnier. Yep. calculated and slingshot us into the sun. It did slingshot us into the sun. I've definitely learned particularly from going back to the Hourglass Twins over and over again, that, like, specifically where autopilot is weakest. And it's just anytime that you're not going to an independent entity with no obstructions. Which means that it works a lot like an auto-driving vehicle, which I think is a lesson in and of itself. When I say an auto-driving vehicle, I mean like in our real world right now today. In that it's not actually very good at all. But it means that if you're going at the twins here, it's very, very difficult for autopilot not to crash you into the wrong one of them if you don't happen to just get very, very lucky at the cycle. And hit them at the right time. And it will absolutely crash you right into the twin planet. There you go. Right on down. Right on, yeah, whoop, yip, 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 yip. Just gently skirt the Ember Twin here. Yep. Up, up, hey. Now. Up. Alright. Here. Yeah. Hey. And open. Go. Because by Jove, if we're going to see the credits, we're going to see the credits in a fun way, as far as I'm concerned. Although I guess Through the Jaws of an Anglerfish is fun for certain values of fun. Do demons obey traffic laws? I guess it... According to Planescape, it depends on which of the planes they're from. Are they lawful evil? Actually, wait, are demons... Yes, I think demons are the lawful evil... No. Is it devils? I always get demons and devils backwards. I think demons are the chaotic evil ones, and devils are the lawful evil ones who do, like, the contracts. I was more of a Dark Sun person than a Planescape person, so, devils obey traffic laws. There it is. And then there are the Slod. Demons go off-road? Have you played Torment? I played a little bit of Torment. I never finished it. And that's a crime. I need to actually go back and play that one. I got as far as Don't Trust the Skull. And it was delightful. But I can't remember if it actually just stopped working. Or if I just got stuck at some point and never bothered to actually look up the whatever. But I had a delightful time with it when I was playing it. The writing with it, the humor with it was just wonderful. For years, I had a joke in a lot of the tabletop campaigns that I run that it was only a matter of time in any game until the players were going to meet a talking skull, and it was kind of going to be a cross between like Murray from Monkey Island or Mort. And it was, the rule was always don't trust the skull.
and then at one point I ran a game based on the Monstrous Comics universe. I'm just killing time because we're waiting on Sand. Which the Monstrous Comics, mwah, what a wonderful series. Anyway, side note, where they met essentially a sentient artifact that was an animate skull that was that had jewels set all throughout it, named Sudir. Long story, doesn't matter. That was the talking skull, and a complete jackass, actually kind of responsible for like millennia of the world's problems, like just the worst, and also like the worst. You know what I mean? And heavily inspired by Mort. So, oh, good. I'm glad that I'm glad that y'all also got with a Murray. But yeah, Mort was very influential. So at some point, I need to go back and finish Torment. I did see it come up a few times on lists of like ways that games subtly let you know that you were, if you kept fucking around, you would find out, and it's like, you know, how they actually accurately represented the Lady of Pain. How like the first time that she would maze you, and then the second time she would just remove the problem, which I thought was very accurate and I liked. Still one of my favorite figures in that setting. That's not the way we go. Go this way. We don't need to worry about oxygen. Where we're going, we won't need to breathe. Hey-ya! And then go bridge. What does maze you mean? I think it was actually like a spell in 2nd edition, but essentially she sends you into a maze, a labyrinth, which doesn't actually like harm you in any way, but you're just stuck there in a like portal dimension until you figure out how to get out. Which I think in system terms meant you just had to keep making very high intelligence checks until eventually you succeeded, and you were just kind of removed from reality until eventually you succeeded on one. So you were just put in time out on a cosmic scale. And I just thought that was a very graceful way of saying, this is your warning, without saying this is your warning. Alright, so let's see if I can repeat the thing that I did once. Okay, it always goes in this one, right? So it's... Oh, too fast. I can't believe I did this on the first try without even really... Last time, let's try it again. Suddenly more impressed with myself again. No, come on, we can do this. Damn, curses. You ever tell somebody like you can do a magic trick and then the moment you're actually trying to do it? Maybe I should be removing the other core. Maybe that's the trick. Take my word for it. It was very cool when it happened. Alright, we're not going to spend all night on this. Well, the thing is, there were briefly 2 warp cores, and then the screen slowly cracked, and then there were roll credits. So, that's my dramatic reimagining. Curses. Last try. Fine. It's just gonna be that kind of night. So. Anyhow. We'll come back to this on Thursday. Now we know what we have to do.
and it's just a matter of shaking off the adrenaline and getting the warp core and taking it all the way to the vessel and plugging it in. But we've got all the pieces. There's still some outstanding mysteries, and I don't know that where we end up is gonna be like the end of things, but with that music playing, it might be. And then after that, who the hell knows? So we'll go from there. That's gonna be Thursday. We're way over time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and expedite this whole bit. Our full schedule is at schedule.truck.community. Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, will be more Outer Wilds. Probably the end of it. Sure, sounds like it. Once I eventually figure out how to get through Anglerfishburg again. No stream for y'all tonight. Oh yeah, probably the network thing was still going bad. I apologize. I don't know why I'm apologizing. Cox sucks. There we go. That's the word I was trying to go for. Most ISPs, and more importantly, monopolies suck. But I'm sorry that you're all having to deal with it. That's the words I was going for. Yeah, we don't have a Cox command on our end, but you know what? I'm kind of wanting to put one in out of sympathy. But yeah, is that a YouTube link to the? Thank you, Al. I appreciate that. So yeah, for those who are curious, the thing I was desperately trying to demonstrate, I did it on the first try by accident without knowing it was the thing, and then apparently can't recreate it, which is also definitely how science do. Speaking of science, we'll be back with more science on Thursday, but be sure to check out our full schedule at schedule.truck.community. Has our full stream team with links to their respective channels and what they're streaming on what days at what times. It's a whole bevy of stuff going on with streams every day of the week, sometimes multiple times a day. So you'll be able to see a whole bunch of good stuff. So yeah, be sure to check everybody out because it's a whole great team full of people doing stuff. Not all of it's science, but some of it. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's at these coordinates that now we have an engine that goes to, and I don't know what's inside the comet, and I don't know how to land on the moon, and maybe we'll never find out. I don't know if we're gonna stream the DLC. I don't know a lot of things, but I know we know where a warp core is, and I know we know how to get to the vessel because we've done it before. And if we put 2 and 2 together, then we'll find out what's at these coordinates, and that's a path. And y'all know how much I like being on a path. So we got this far. We got through 16 episodes without stalling out, which was the thing that I've been worried about for like 6 episodes straight. So I'm ecstatic. We got inside of the freaking Ash Twin. There's still the freaking Black Hole Forge that we could potentially try to figure out how to go into. We're probably not gonna. The only thing that I have, like the only thing that I was interested in looking at it for was a warp core, and we found one of those. So yeah, we'll take this thing and go in and go to the vessel and see where it leads us. Maybe it'll take us to the other Nomai. That'd be cool. That sounds like a cool idea. Maybe we'll just hang out and roast marshmallows with some people. Maybe we'll roast a warp core. What does that do? Probably blow up the universe. It's already blown up, so who cares? I'm just babbling now. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. This has been a blast. And I don't mean that as a pun until literally just now. But yeah, we'll probably I think we're gonna wrap this game up on Thursday by hook or by crook. We'll give it a few tries until we find out where it's going, and then yeah, and then we'll have all the bits and bobs and Bob is here, and then we'll go there. Yeah, everything else was bonus. If we do, sorry, I'm still babbling now. Because there's not a stream. I'm just gonna keep going. But if we do end up wrapping the game up on Thursday, we're gonna use any extra time to just like fuck around and try and figure other stuff out. But also, like, I do a bonus Saturday stream of just like, let's try to solve all the mysteries we haven't yet. And I don't know what we're playing next, so who knows? It's an open new frontier. So hi, Jasmine. Do you want to say hi to everybody? By which I mean, do you want to say bye to everybody? Do you want to not look at me at all and just... She's such a cat. She's such a cat. Apparently you forgot to turn on the time machine part of the machine, because in the video the scout was coming out of the white hole before it went into the black hole. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing I did last time. Oh. Hi. As soon as Cat comes on stream, no one can hear you anymore. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that's only appropriate. So yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey there. This is how you know Andy grew. This is how you know when Andy grew up. A fucking notebook. Yeah. There was somebody. I'm sorry, I'm still ranting. There was somebody who was talking about Myst the other day, and it reminded me that the actual instruction manual for Myst was like, the booklet itself was like, I don't know, 15 pages or something like that, and only 5 of them were actually like how to install the game, and like a couple of pages of lore, like all instruction books used to have. And then it was like 10 pages of just lined sheets. Okay, you are done being held, I understand. So that you could make notes. So it was just, the game came with just an empty notebook so that you could make notes, because they knew. And I'm like, man, bring that shit back. Not that I need more notebooks, I have so many notebooks, but like, give me more. Anyway, I'm done stalling. Thank you all so much again for coming and hanging out. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and I will hope to see you next time. Good night, everybody.